Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K. Welcome everyone and thank you so much for stopping by as I continue on with Junk Journal January hosted by Meg Journals. Today I ran into some video issues or glitches and the first part of today's video is lost. I'm not really sure what happened, so I do apologize. In the video that was lost, I did explain that I was going with a seashore theme to go along with today's prompt, which is bubbles. So in the video that was lost, I did take a rubber stamp of bubbles and I stamped it onto the background paper and I filled the whole paper full of the images of the bubbles. Then I also stamped a couple of seashells and cut them out. And my plan was to be able to use the seashells for tuck spots. I also shared with you the journal card that I will be tucking in behind the seashells. So the next part of the video starts right after I cut up the seashells, and so that's what you're going to see next. Again, I do apologize that I lost part of the video. So I did finish cutting that other one out, and then also since I had the camera off, I did go ahead and I sewed on this piece of paper onto the next page, and I added the little trim that I had talked about earlier since I was off camera and I wasn't going to do that on camera. And then I also remembered when I was off camera that I had this really fun trim that actually has seashells on the bottom of them. Some of them are broken, but I think it would be fun to add that to the bottom of the page. So I'm going to do that, and I am going to glue it down. But one of the things I do like to do on this type of trim, you can see that it's attached by string right here at the very bottom. And sometimes that string comes loose and that's why you'll lose your beads. So I just like to either reinforce it with some more glue, or in this case, I'm just going to reinforce it with some double stick tape. I'm just going to try and hook it so that I have a little extra support for it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I don't need a very big piece to fit on here. So I just wanted to tell you guys about that in case you have this type of trim, that this works really nice to just add some double stick tape. And if my tape's longer than what the ribbon is, which in this case it's going to be, I'm just going to trim it off. But I just find it helpful to try and hook some of that, the string or the thread that's holding the beads on. Sometimes I'll just put a light layer of glue over it too. That works also, and then I let it dry before I actually use the trim. And I know you guys probably can't quite tell what I'm doing on camera, but I'm just kind of pushing my fingernail, pushing the thread underneath the double stick tape. And again, this is just kind of a second layer of protection for this trim. Just trying to hopefully keep the beads on there longer than normal. So now I'm going to go ahead and just cut it down to the size that I want. And it doesn't really concern me that there's still some tape left on it. It'll be ready to go for the next time I use it. Just going to cut off the top. I'm going to do the same thing here too. Just cut off the top part of that tape that's stuck over. Now normally I probably would have liked to have sewn this type of trim on the bottom also, but my sewing machine does not like this double stick tape. I've tried it before and it just gets it all gummed up. And so I'm just going to glue it on. I can take the backing off of this double stick tape, but just to reinforce it a little bit, I'm going to put some Fabri-Tac on it too. And then we'll go ahead and finish the layout. Just fun sometimes when you remember little pieces that you have in your stash that you've forgotten about when you do these types of journals. So I'm just going to run a little bit of my Fabri-Tac across the bottom of the page here. It's a little brighter than the rest of my layout, but I think it'll match, you know, somewhat, just knowing that the other page to the left of it is that bright layout that we did. And then the other thing I'm going to do too, well, I have this glue, or I am going to, during the break, I did stamp my number 19 on just a tab thing. And then I did stamp tomorrow's date, number 20, on the back side of it. And I'm just going to glue it down just on this side, and I'll leave this open until tomorrow, and I'll glue that side down tomorrow when I know what I'm going to do tomorrow. But I just figured while I was stamping number 19 on a tab for the top of the page, I might as well put a number 20 on the back side of it. So for now, I'll just fold it over. Usually, like I said, I glue it together, but since I don't know what I'm doing on the back side yet, I'm going to wait just so I don't mess up any ideas I have for down there. All right, so now back to the rest of the layout. So far, I think, you know, it's cute. It'd be really cute if you're doing like a nautical or a seashore or a summer themed journal, I think. And so this is going to get glued down. And then I also want these two behind it. So I'm going to glue these to my Collect Seashells. And again, on this one, I added the eyelash trim. And then I'll have a nice little tuck spot. So let's add just a little glue on the bottom of both of these. And see if we can figure out a nice way to attach them here. So I think that'll work. Then I'm going to go ahead and glue it down. And I think I'm going to use the Fabri-Tac just since I'm gluing on top of the trim. I think that's a better choice for the glue, because I know the Fabri-Tac works well for material. So I'm pretty sure this paper will attach to it. So that's cute. Then I have my two little journal cards to put in. And I guess that one would kind of fit that way in there, in this one too, if I wanted to do it that way. That looks, I like that one, that layout, that works. Then of course the background's the bubbles, which was today's prompt. And I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I want to add. Like I'm tempted, I still have, you know, this little bits of trim floating around just to add just a small little bit on the tops. I don't know. So if I could just put that up there, maybe do one up here. I like my scraps, and I just love this trim, so I'm going to use every last bit of it on projects till it's gone, even though they're just remnants now of what's left of that trim. You know, it'd be cute too if you had a little die cut or something of like another little seashell or something that you could add to it. I just want to see what it looks like if I put a little bit of this trim underneath these. No, I think I just like it with just these two colors. It was a little bulky when I added that third one. Got glue on my finger so it's sticking to everything. Alright, I think I like how that layout turned out. That's kind of cute. Again, you guys will have to let me know what you think. And again, that was for today's prompt, which is bubble, and I used bubble rubber stamp in the background for some interest. And then tomorrow's prompt is tissue. So hopefully I will see you guys back again tomorrow for another episode of Junk Journal January to work on the prompt tissue. And until then, I hope you guys all have a wonderful day and happy crafting.